This is The Sit Down, and I'm joined by Miriam Shor and Peter Hermann, two of the stars of the show Younger. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
We're already having such a good time out here.
It's the best time ever.
Yes. Well, something else that seems like the best time ever, please bear with my segue, is that TV Land dropped a little teaser for the new season, and there is a scene in which you are at Marie's Crisis singing 9 to 5 with Liza and Kelsey.
Sublime.
Yes. How did that come about?
Darren Star is obsessed with Marie's Crisis, and rightly so. And if you've never been to Marie's Crisis, go. So it's this tiny little bar in the West Village where you sing show tunes with a live pianist, and everybody sings, and it has become part of the story that my character, Diana Trout, that's like her go-to to de-stress and to
Collect herself.
Be herself, too.
Be herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
And so in the episode, there's a lot of drama at work, and she goes to Marie's Crisis, and they find her there, and it's the moment where they kind of all come together as a unit, and they start it by singing frickin' Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
That solves the world's problems. We can
believe.
get all the leaders of the world together to channel their inner Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda. I think the world would be a better place.
I mean,
Because nothing else is working. So
it's not as well, right?
It's just you know what, Dolly, go to Congress, sing to them. I think the world will
It'll
change.
solve everything.
I think
It was my dream come true, because then I got to channel my inner Lily Tomlin, who's my spirit animal, because Lily Tomlin. It was magnificent. And I got to sing with Hilary Duff and Sutton Foster, which is no one's dream.
Peter, did you get your own Dolly Parton moment? Will we get to see you belting any tunes in the new season?
I do it privately. To everyone's
I show up
dismay.
every now and then.
I do not belt a tune. I do, however, do another thing.
Special.
You do another thing.
Do another
really
thing.
special.
I'll just say that.
Listen.
Can I get a hint about what is
That's a
really
hint.
special?
That's a hint. Don't try it.
It's just another thing.
Okay.
It's a thing that will make people go, ah!
That's what I did when I found out I was doing
You
it.
did?
So yes, I went, ah.
So did you find out about this for the first time when you were just reading through the script, or what?
Yeah, that's how we find out about everything.
By the way,
That's how-
yes.
Yes.
I'm like, so I sang 9 to 5 with Hilary Duff and Foster. Good to know.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I read the script and I said, I do this other thing.
Okay, well,
And you go panic, prepare.
It's pretty
how it goes.
magnificent. I will say that. It's
And
things.
you were magnificent.
Well, but the thing that you get to do with Sutton, it's.
okay. Well, I'm over here in the dark
Sutton,
about this.
right?
So, but you also don't know actually how this end of the season goes, right? Because you're still shooting.
No, we
as I
just
understand it.
finished.
You
We're
just
done.
finished, so you do know how it ends.
We
But we
knew.
found out at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, we're always the last.
Well,
one.
also, that episode, the final episode, was set, and then it completely changed. And then it completely changed again. So I was like, are they punking us? Like, are they messing with us?
Was that intended so that you wouldn't be able to predict exactly what was going to happen?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that there's sometimes we think that they're more ahead of the story than they actually are.
Yeah, exactly. No, they just were, I mean, they really, kind of write to what's going on and how the story evolves as it's evolving. They're amazing writers.
Well, Diana is a force of nature, your character, and you said that playing her actually helped inspire you to ask to direct some episodes.
When you play someone who just doesn't apologize for their power and their capabilities, and that's not how I walk through the world. I apologize for taking up space. If someone bumps into me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm breathing. So when you play something like that for a long time, a character just kind of gets into you. It's like osmosis, and so I sort of started thinking, well, why don't I walk through the world of, feeling confident about my capabilities, and also the conversation the world and this business was having at the time about women and their place in it, and why they do or don't get certain jobs, or do get to have power or don't get to have power. Yeah, all of that kind of came together, and I built up the courage to ask and was told yes.
But it's funny because you say that you go through the world as someone who apologizes. I don't experience you that way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot that wrong. So there. But I will say, as someone who as an actor who's been lucky enough to have been directed by Miriam, she is absolutely fantastic.
He's really hard to work with.
And I said this. You directed your first shot was first shot you directed was with Sutton and me. and the shot was over, and you came over and you gave both of us a small note, and just instinctually, just actor's instinct, we just said, great. Great.
So will you be directing more this season?
Well, I directed an episode last season, an episode this season, and I love it. I think it's great. I think I enjoy it, and it's challenging, and it's like, putting together a giant puzzle. And I'm a nerd, so I love that.
Well, speaking of how multifaceted you both are, Peter, you're also an author. You wrote the children's book, If the S in Moose Comes Loose. And I learned that back in the day you were a fact checker for Vanity Fair. So I got to ask you, how accurate is Younger's portrayal of the publishing world?
I will say this: the process. There are a lot of people in the publishing industry who watch the show and say that it is uncannily accurate. That we reflect that world very well. There are a couple of things. They say that people in their office generally are not that well dressed.
Well, look, we have a higher wardrobe
because they also don't have our wonderful
Jackie
DiMatteo styling them.
Yeah.
And when I go to HarperCollins, it is monastically quiet. It is like a monastery where everyone's kind of huddled over their desk, and we have these full voice conversations in the middle of the bullpen. Nobody does that at a publishing house.
I don't know. Do people even have conversations in the world anymore? Or is everyone like I would be texting you,
having a conversation.
Hey, love your outfit today.
And the process is much quicker on the show.
Yeah.
So the
that's always
publishing
true,
process is sort of glacially slow as a book moves through the process. So,
well, I have to say, we here at AM to DM are also huge fans of your wife, Mariska, and you're both on the new People cover as well. Is there any chance she will ever do a guest role?
Oh my God! And she would have to play my best friend. I'm sorry.
It would just be mandated.
I think you just
So
pitched
weird.
that. I think you just pitched that.
What I said in my mind came right out of my mouth.
I want her to play a writer who pitches something.
Yes.
And I want a writer with an accent from some.
Yes.
I think it'd be fantastic.
It's happening. It's happening.
It's happening.
Right? I don't know. How could that not? By the
How
way,
can it not happen?
Don't you feel like Mariska was just like, I wish this to be so. The world's like, we'll do whatever we can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yes, we manifested that People cover today. We said we would like to be on the cover of People.
That'd be great if we were on
That'd be
People.
nice.
Bing.
Bing, and
There you
happens.
go. Well, I have to say, in watching Younger and then also Law and Order New York feels like such a character in both of these shows.
Yeah.
Do you think that these shows happen in the same universe as each other?
Oh wow, what an interesting question. That there could at some point there could be some
like
sort
the
of
younger
crime
folks
committed
are
against millennial, and then
the Law and Order people are uptown.
There's the author who comes in about the crime that this season. Who comes in?
Yes.
Yeah, that could
nice.
totally. And I'm sure they had that same because it's ripped from the headlines, and ours is ripped from the byline. No, ours is ripped from the titles. So in a weird way, they. Obviously, Law and Order really does look at things that are happening in the now, and as does our show in terms of novels and authors. We actually look at what authors are coming, and we sort of satirize that or use that as a jumping off point. So I see them in the same world. Just so Mariska and I can be best friends.
I think that we just need the dun. We need
Please! Oh my God!
And
Okay,
and then the little thing about Charles Brooks' office sting.
Well, listen.
That'd be great.
I could sit here for many more minutes
we're not
speculating about a nice crossover show, but we do have to leave it there. So thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And the season premiere of Younger is tonight at 10, 9 Central on TV Land.